So this video is all about how to connect to our guardian angels. So when we think about it, when we come into the world as babies, you know, we're born very open, we're very psychically open. We don't come in with baggage, really. And especially, you know, the children of this generation, that there is no karma, you know, that they're very, very light. So it's very, very natural for children to see or to hear or to sense, feel spirits, you know, to connect in with them, you know, in some way. And what I mean by spirit is, you know, either deceased loved ones. So, you know, I've got the example of my youngest son, who was very, very connected to my mother's dog who died. And for a while he kept saying, oh, I see, you know, I can see Harris in the garden. Look, he's over there playing. You know, and you could actually see my mum's dog still playing in the garden, the spirit of the dog. You know, there's also spirit guides. So these are beings that have had an incarnation, have had a lifetime on this planet, but have chosen to come back to kind of teach, in some ways guide, often a soul group, so a group of people that have a similar destiny and purpose, or they can connect into angels, into the angelic realm. And angels come through for us to help us with feelings of joy, you know, forgiveness, very, very, very difficult feeling to embody. You know, gratitude, unconditional love, you know, our ability to manifest and our ability to have abundance. So they help us with all these things, all these aspects. And all these spirits have a vibration, they have a frequency. Like angels are at a higher frequency, a higher vibration, compared to sort of deceased loved ones or spirit guides. And so in order to connect with any of these, we do need to be at a higher vibration, at a higher frequency. And this is why I suppose children, you know, they are psychically open, but they do have a lighter frequency. They feel lighter. They're not so dense in their thoughts and their feelings, and, you know, not so much when they're younger anyway. So it is important, knowing all this, it's important that we support our children when they do talk like this, that they see spirit if they do, you know, not to make them feel that it's unnatural and it's not normal and it's wrong to see spirit. You know, it's really important to encourage them in this, because this is really is a unique ability for them, and if they you know, if they are able to remain open, you know, as adults, to be able to tap into their intuitive abilities and to be able to see spirit and to be able to be guided by spirit will be an incredibly powerful thing for them. So yeah, it's, you know, it is important. And I think some children kind of learn to switch down because adults are probably not supporting the adults around them, or they find it quite frightening if they feel that they are the only ones that can see these things. You know, they don't always understand what they're seeing. You know, and I think we as children, or you know, often we teach children to only believe what we can see, only to believe in what we can see, not what we can sense so much. So I think that the intuitive ability is very much lost as we grow older, which is incredibly, you know, unfortunate, because it's, you know, it's our inner guide, it's our inner wisdom, you know, it's who we truly are, and it connects us, our intuition connects us to these guides. You know, and I think as well, we have to remember that parents want to protect their children, and you know that I suppose they, you know, the world can be a very concrete place. You know, I mean, obviously that's not the full extent of it, but the parents often see that part of it, and they're just trying to protect their children, I guess, and in the way they know and understand how to, and make them feel safe and accepted. So I think it's also important to understand that everyone has at least one or two angels, or possibly more, that connect in with them and are there to guide them and protect them. You know, and that these angels have a specific energy, a unique energy. So whether we sense it or not, they are there. You know, and we can connect to these angels whenever we want, obviously by knowing how to, but this is what I will be showing you later on. we can connect to our angels, and especially when we're unsure of a situation or uncertain, or we need guidance around something, you know, and especially as well when we struggle, because I think over recent years there has been a lot of struggle for a lot of people. I feel that the energy is very, very intense at the moment, you know, and it's not just me saying that, it's the whole of the spiritual world will recognize that energy is very, very intense. So which means that anything that is not sustaining us, you know, for our higher good, is kind of crumbling, disintegrating. It's like the bedrock, the very bedrock that we're standing on is just kind of shifting sands. It's nothing is solid, you know, and if it has to go, if it's not right anymore, then it will kind of dissolve, and that's what's happening. And this is why I feel people are struggling at the moment. But it's, you know, in these times of struggle, I think we do tend to forget ourselves, and, you know, we even get to a point where we don't feel that we deserve to be loved and we deserve to be protected. You know, so we can get to this place of kind of what I like to call rock bottom, you know, this kind of complete chaos where we're forced to surrender and we're forced to let go, and we're forced to come to a place of acceptance. So it's not necessarily a bad thing, although it feels horrendous sometimes, and it can feel like that. It is, if you remember that something good will come out of it, it's because everything has had to kind of break down so that you can start again and afresh on a new path, on a path of higher good. So it's, you know, it's also knowing and you know, knowing that it's okay to feel like we're feeling, it's okay that we're having a bad day, you know, and it's, you know, and knowing that we feel vulnerable and we feel scared or we feel angry or we feel any of these kind of more negative emotions. That's okay to feel like that. And if we're drawn, we can then ask for guidance. So whether that comes in the form of just asking friends or family for some physical help, or we could go in search of, and I think at these times people do often go in search of some sort of spiritual guidance, so whether that's through the church or some sort of energy healer, or, you know, just starting in your own journey of spiritual awakening, that's great as well. Or we can also ask for guidance from our angels, because we now know that we all have at least one with us all the time. And any of these things are absolutely fine, and it's just knowing that this is all part of the process, and this is how we grow. You know, we're really not good at asking for help, you know, but as I said, I think it is part of the process and very important. So how do we connect? How do we go about connecting with our angels? Well, first of all, for me, and for everything really, it boils down to initially intent. You know, you set your intent, that's what you want to do, that you want to connect and get to know your particular angel that's with you. And you could ask the question, you know, something like, you know, thank you for revealing to me what I need to know. You know, I'm ready to be open, I'm ready to receive, you know, something like that you could start with. And then secondly, I feel it's really important that we trust in our intuition, because our angels are going to connect to us and communicate with us through our intuition. So whether that's through intuitive thoughts or kind of these more intuitive feelings that come to us when we ask the question, when we ask them to come to us, when we ask them for guidance, or whether it's through dreams, and dreams are very much connected with our subconscious and speaks to us through our intuition. So any of these can be possible. You know, and it's important to remember that our intuition will develop like a muscle. The more we kind of tune into it, the more it will come through for us, the more it will develop. So that's really important. It's what I'm realizing as well is that it's when we want to connect with our angels, it's important to come from that place of higher vibration. Not to be, and I think obviously when we do need them, we could be in that struggle, but I think if we're feeling really dense and really heavy with our emotions, it's really difficult to connect with them, because remember I said they're at that higher frequency, that higher vibration, and it's where we need to be able to connect with them, you know, to bring through more of that energy into us. So in that case, when we do recognize that we're really at rock bottom, or we're really low, we're really heavy, and we're having those dense thoughts, we're really in the mental plane and we're chewing over things, then at that point it's good to just stop and try and do something that brings more joy into you. So, you know, just going out for walks. I find connecting with nature, either by walking in nature, you know, just by myself, or just observing nature, you know, like bees on a, you know, like this morning I was watching bees on a bit of cow parsley, you know, or you know, just watching birds at a bird feeder, or just anything like that. Just connecting in a little bit will bring that feeling of joy into our hearts, so that we raise our vibration a little bit. Or we can do things like dancing. You know, some people love to dance and they just feel complete freedom and joy and abandonment, and or singing as well, you know, anything like that, or being creative, just doing some sort of creative activity that will just, you know, bring that feeling of bliss and of joy and of love into our hearts. And then this feeling in turn shifts our vibration, so we come to another vibration. We're ready and able to connect to them because we're more on that level, more on their frequency, you know. So I guess it's initially about being mindful of how we're feeling, and just recognizing that if we are quite dense and we do need that guidance, that we need to shift that a little bit, that frequency. So once we've set our intent and we've asked the question for them to kind of come through for us, we've noticed how we're feeling, we're trying to shift our vibration to a higher frequency, then we need to remain open. We need to be open to receive their messages, because they will appear to us in a way, I suppose, that how we're expecting them to appear. For me personally, I get a sense of energy, I get a sense of their being, and you know, I was connecting this morning, and everything just kind of feels a lot lighter. I was outside in nature just walking, and everything just suddenly seems brighter, and then I get this feeling of just a real pure joy, you know, coming into me, flooding into me, and then I know I'm connected, they're connecting with me. But you could maybe even see them. I don't really see things. I'm not clairvoyant, well, that hasn't come through for me. But I think people will talk about these kind of long, elongated beings of light, you know, just pure light, or kind of winged creatures, they're often portrayed like that. And as I said, you may feel a presence, like an energy or a feeling, an intuitive feeling. Or you know, you may get visions in your dreams as well. That's sometimes how they choose to come through for us. Or just a synchronicity of events, where you've asked a question and asked for clarity around something, and the events will set up. You'll see, if you're open, you'll see things. You know, events will set up, and you'll understand that that's a sign from them. They're trying to communicate to you. You know, or just a thought, an intuitive thought will pop into your head. But I think the important thing is to remain open, you know, and be open to receive, and remain and trust in that intuition, because I think sometimes we can just talk ourselves out of anything, you know, and it's important, you know, that is our channel to them, and it's important to honor that, and it's important to, you know, honor it and respect your intuition, because it can really, you know, really help. It's a really, you know, really powerful tool. Okay. And also, I just wanted to say that remember that there is no judgment. They don't stand in judgment of us. They're just there, and they feel just this complete unconditional love and joy and compassion for us, and they just see us through those feelings. So, you know, you can feel safe. You can absolutely feel totally safe, because there is no judgment. You know, and they're just waiting in the wings, as it were, to help us. They're just waiting for a sign to come through for us. You know, and I think it's important as well to remember that, I think particularly if we do have loved ones that are struggling, or, you know, waiting to pass, or that these beings are angels. They don't have a physical body, so they're not limited by their physical body. So they can be with us, but they can also be with other loved ones, or just other people at the same time. So I always think it's nice to know that, you know, they're there for us, but they're there for others as well. And that's a really lovely thought, especially when you start tapping into how they can make you feel. It's, you know, you just think, well, that's lovely, because that's going to be beautiful for someone else as well. And I think the last thing to remember, and it's hugely important, is to be in that flow, in that, you know, to be more in that flow, is to be appreciative of them. you know, to have that gratitude for them in your hearts. And the more you have that, the more you'll bring that in. But, you know, that will just be a natural consequence of your gratitude, because that's all you want to do. You just want to appreciate them and be grateful to them for how they can make you feel.